Okay. All right. So here's a question though. Regardless of that, okay. I'm glad that we're going into this conversation about men versus women and how they handle the infidelity situation because as you said already, you already expect your man's gonna cheat if he's presented with the pussy like immediately. If it's out, he's gonna just do it. Now, the reason why I bring that up is because I think it's unfair in the stigma that guys get that they cheat more than women, even though statistically it's about even. Now, my questions for y'all is like, what do y'all think about that? Because there really is a stereotype that men are going to cheat regardless, and that women don't cheat as much. And when they do cheat, the first question people ask is, "Well, what did he do?" They're like, "What did he do that made you want to go do this?" Versus maybe she just wanted to be that person. So, like, what do y'all think about that? I feel it's very lopsided.
I feel like it's very lopsided too, and I wish it wasn't that way. Because they don't put in even the idea that a woman could do that very same thing, or that a woman could have been the cause of the toxicity in the relationship. And so sometimes in conversation, I'll try to be mindful of making mention that it could have been her too. And unfortunately, a lot of us women don't like to admit or acknowledge our wrong in relationships. So that's part of it too. So like we might be conversing about how bad this relationship is, but we won't talk about all the crappy stuff
that we done did.
Yeah, so I hate that it is lopsided because it is a lot of shady broads out here doing this.
Real.
Yeah.
Me and John just had this conversation the other day, and he said when women cheat, it's worse because they're emotionally invested. Versus
okay.
when a man cheats, he's just doing it for the physical act, not for love. They do it physically. So
I want to talk about that. Like I like to refer to it as who's cooked your steak. So this is how I because I remember somebody saying that sex for men is really just as simple as using the toilet. So I like to think of it as steak. He chose who he wanted to cook his steak that day. He liked steak, but today he wants Tammy to cook his steak, and then tomorrow he'll have Ashley cook his steak. And it's literally just that simple of who he wants to cook. With women, it's a lot deeper. It's a lot more complex.
Right. Because women get emotionally involved, where men, it's like if you love a woman, you love her, but if you cheat on her, that you're doing it for the physical. It's not that you love this other woman, because your heart is with the woman that you love, but you're literally just cheating because of the physical. She looked good.
You're trying to meet.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna say this. All right. In my 30s, I'm in my 30s, right? We just 30 perspective, 30p, in my 30s, in my life. All right? There have been women who I've known that would cheat on their man for the physical. It wasn't emotional, nothing. They just wanted to get their rocks off at that moment. I really don't think it's that different on the same side, the other thing where men, they're cheating on their spouse or girlfriend because they're missing something emotionally from their relationship, or they connect with somebody. I don't know if it's so black and white where men do for physical and women cheat for the emotional. I think that feeds into the man cheated, and that's what he does. And if the woman cheats, well, why did you cheat? It must be something he did wrong.
there's always exceptions to the rule.
Right.
Women are wired differently.
Right.
Oftentimes means something different and feels different, and it affects us quite differently, a lot deeper oftentimes.
So they were saying like, no, listen, like what they're saying is like with women, like I did this one class and it was through a church. So it says, we are talking about women and being a temple. So, with women, we're being plugged into where men are plugging into. So we are the outlet.
The receiver.
Exactly. For that.
Right, and the guy's the plug.
Right. So, but what I'm saying is we're receiving that emotion from that man, whether it's, just to get his rocks off or whatever, but we're receiving all of those things. Like for men, you could, take sex as just, not even looking or at the woman. It's just a physical act. Where women, we receive all of that from you. We receive that body, that affection, that everything. Where men are just like, I'm just trying to plug in. I plugged in. I'm good. I'm charged.
See, I think that's the mentality that may be short-sighted on some of these issues. I'm not saying that it doesn't exist. For sure. There are definitely plenty of men that's what it is. And there are women that do the same thing, but you can't say that there aren't men more than you would expect that have an emotional connection with, I guess, why they're doing infidelity type of thing. Is infidelis a word? Is that the word for that? They're infidelis?
I believe that to be an unpopular opinion because.
All right.
And I'm going to say this because I have been with men that are emotionally unavailable, and it literally was a physical thing.
But at the same time, I've been with women that are emotionally unavailable too.
But what I'm saying is when it comes to women, like Sherelle said, we are wired different. That's why we are territorial. We love hard. Not saying that men don't. Not saying that men don't have all those aspects. I'm not saying that. But women, this is how we're programmed. Men, y'all are programmed different than we are.
True. That is very true.
Exactly.
I just don't want women to I guess do the stereotype or lump us all together, or because there are men who are emotionally involved with the women that they are sexually engaged with. It's for real.
Yeah, they are. However, there are a lot of men who are taught to discard emotion and to live an emotionless life. There are a lot of men who are taught to walk around earth getting what they need and conquer and whatever they need, opportunistic type ideology or whatever. So even that, like with us being nurturers, taking care of you, it's in our blood, it's in our
DNA.
We're groomed to take on your stuff so it's just a different experience all around.
Now, do you think that for Generation Z, even the junior millennial Generation Z, do you think that mentality is changing where women are now engaging in the sexual situations without having the emotional connection, taking a more, I guess, in this context, a more manly approach to sex where it's more physical and they're not even necessarily emotionally involved? Do you think that the culture has changed?
I think that the culture has changed for men. I don't think that the culture has changed too much for women, where men are now they're making the narrative that it's okay to show emotion. It's okay to, feel. So we're getting more of these kids who are being raised in single parent homes with just a mother. And I think a lot of, now this generation is, men are becoming more emotional. That's their
I agree with that.
are
But I
over.
also think that there's some sexual liberation and revolution with women as well
Right.
that's happening.
And I feel the same thing with, when I say a change with women, meaning that they're making it to be okay to be sexualized with women. Like, I look at pop culture, look at the way that, some of these rappers come out, like Megan Thee Stallion. Like, that girl, I never got on no damn clothes, ever. Ever. Every time she come out,
why would you need clothes?
Exactly. Lizzo came out. She had her whole ass out at the NBA finals.
Oh yeah, man. Hey, Prince can do it.
So it's becoming okay for women to express themselves sexually out now, where before it was so, oh, she's a hoe and she's this and she's that. So I feel like that narrative is changing as far as with women. But yeah,
I think
right.
Vulnerability is no longer a trend for men and women. That's my perspective. Even like making love songs is not really even a thing anymore. Saying that songs that say I want you, and not even in a sexual way. It's not even a trend anymore. So I think people are I think vulnerability and modesty have gone out of the window in society these days. So that makes sexual liberation just look like it looks kind of skank. It looks like you're easy, like you're open to anything, when really you just owning your sexuality. You might want to just say I'm a woman and I get horny too. Like, that might be what you want to say, but there's not any balance in pop culture anymore. It's just all one way.
Well, the pendulum had to swing. I mean, so it may come back to a balance, but we're talking about, at least in terms of pop culture, especially music, since the 50s. It's been very conservative, and especially in regards to women expressing their sexuality. It changed a lot in the 70s with the disco thing, but it still was not where it needed to be. And the 90s hit, and then you got people like Adina Howard talking about how much she's a freak, but it still wasn't where it needed to be. And now the pendulum, like, in completely full swing. Yeah, like, I mean, y'all are, women are embracing the sexuality on a public level, and depending on what generation you're part of, that may be viewed as freedom, or maybe viewed, as she says, as skank.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we're at. Is it freedom or skank?
Yeah, like it's all freedom. Like people say, oh, well, look at Lizzo. She's so bold and she has such great self-esteem. Some people really view it that way because she's always out here showing her body. She's embracing her body, while others look at it as a cry for help, a low self-esteem, attention-seeking behaviors, and her trying to fill a void. So just depends on the person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what it is. Okay, so now I got a question for y'all. Do y'all think that women are better at cheating than men are?
Oh yeah, for sure.
And why is that?
And it goes back to the whole emotional thing. Like, I'll never stop loving you. I'm not gonna stop loving you. I still love you. I have this emotional tie to this other person, but I'm not gonna.
You're not gonna slack off.
Yeah, I'm not gonna fall out of love.
I think
all right.
women, I hate to say most, a good number of women are planners. We have to be, whether we want to or not. Just because I don't have a better example. Well, I'll say, like, for instance, our period. Hear me out. We learn to have to plan ahead. Okay, I need to bring these products because it's like this, or it could be coming at this time. Or maybe even our hair. Okay, it's about to rain, so I better wear this. Tomorrow, I have a good a job interview, so I better tie my hair up tonight. We are constantly thinking ahead and constantly planning and preparing for the next moment. That I think that's what makes us better cheaters, because we always have to be a step ahead of the game. We always have to be preparing and planning just in general in life. And I don't feel as many men, or at least not as many men that I know, are planners. Most men that I know are just do it whenever they feel like it, do it however they feel like it. Don't plan ahead, don't think ahead, just do. And so,
all right, guys, Ocean's 11 your shit from now on. You gotta plan that shit out.
No, but y'all don't plan nothing though.
Never. Not the ones I
never prepared.
Do know that plan are usually gay. I don't know what the correlation is, and that's just the ones that I know that plan. I don't know.
So wait. So you telling me getting dick makes you plan?
I'm not saying that. I know.
What? Okay. All right.
Are gay men. I don't know if there's a correlation there. I can't say there is. I just know the men I know.
Okay. All right.
I mean, Brandon, I feel that when it comes to like men and cheating and like women and cheating, I don't really know if one is, more deceptive than the other, or that women
Okay.
because, I feel that men could be just as sneaky though. Like when it comes to that, because especially if I think a lot of it has to do with like if you're in a good relationship and you have a good standing status with your partner, that like I feel like you can be deceived easier because that, I've been with John for 6 years, and I could say in confidence that I don't feel that he's cheating on me. But then again, we're in a good space. We're in a good way. So it's like, should I or could I suspect that at this point? Like, I'm like, I'm preoccupied with we're getting married next month. So it's like, we're preoccupied with that and doing all of that good stuff. And then, we have a child. So like, we're doing back and forth with her. So like, it's like, we're in a good space. So, if he did, right now, I would be so deceived because I feel like we're in a good space.
Yeah, you know what? Love does make you blind to a lot of stuff, though. That's for real.
And so does men buying things for women, too.
That reminds me of, like, Jackie Christie. The Christies. They get married every year on their anniversary, because the idea is that if we're always planning for a wedding, we can't be planning for a divorce. It's kind of like pre.
Okay.
Yeah, so like they prepare for every anniversary is a vow renewal for them.
And that's kind of cool. I like that.
They literally get a dress and location and literally invite folk to certain.
You know what? Wait, that's smart, because women spend like 20 grand on a wedding dress and wear it one night. She gonna get all her use out of that dress. That's smart. I like that.
No. He was a basketball player. They got money. She was wearing something different every
Man, okay, they cheating the whole system. All right. That's I was about to say that's sometimes some rich people stuff to do. They plan a wedding every year. It's a lot, but the concept, the idea, is a really good idea, and that is something people need to adopt. Sometimes you got to go ahead and renew and get back to what it was, the honeymoon period. That's awesome.
Also, when I think about it too, one of the things about marriage specifically, I know that kind of frightens me a little bit, is the fact that you go through so many different stages, both of you, so many different stages. So the nice thing about that ideology is when you renew your vows, you can kind of assess what that person needs now in this stage of their life. Because I went through grief from a very close relative that died, and now I need more of your support and communication. Maybe I didn't need that 2 years ago, but now, so it's a way to kind of assess, okay, what do we need to do now? Because I do believe you go, like Will and Jada said, you do go through a period in your marriage or relationship when you've been in it a long time, you get complacent.
It's called entanglement.
No, I'm talking about their actual marriage.
Entanglement!
You reach a place of complacency, and you do reach a place where you got to sit down and reevaluate, okay, what is this marriage? What do we do now? Like, I got to interact with you differently now.
Well, I think that most couples, most relationships, man, need to reevaluate where they are. And that's not just speaking just on marriages or even romantic relationships. You can have a business relationship for a while and say, you know what? Where are we now, and where do we need to go with this?
That's true.
I think a lot of people don't reevaluate their relationships often enough.
I agree. That's a good point. I never thought about it from that perspective. Even in business, no matter what the relationship is, you might have to come together. Or even if you don't do it intentionally, where you're sitting down and saying, what are we doing now? The relationship shifts. Friendship, whatever.
Right. Even if you don't have even at the very minimum, just thinking to yourself, this interaction with this person, is it still where we need to be? This needs to be something different.
Yeah.
And that kind of leads to me asking, like, why do y'all think people cheat?
There's numerous